mercenaries, really, that's the double M. Born baller, baby boy, I be above the rim.
What's good, family? It's your boy Just Blaze, host of the best NBA pod in the game, Above the Rim. Keep it locked each week and join myself and a special guest as we tackle the latest rumblings in the league. If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
It was a good old-fashioned ass-whooping, beginning to end.
Well, what I want to touch on real quick, RJ, is the disrespect I saw from Pat Beverly earlier today. You know, as reporters, you know, as part of the media, we have a job to be critical, but I think there's a thin line between being critical and disrespecting. And I feel like what Pat Beverly did today to Chris Paul was completely disrespectful and out of the line. And Pat Beverly's talking like he's that guy. You're not that guy. Plain and simple. Chris Paul played terrible this year, and his numbers are still better than your career numbers have ever been. So I just think you have to understand, Chris is a 12-time All-Star. He played terrible. First time, all defense 9 times, 7 times first team all defense. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Pat Bev and I were similar type role players. They don't talk about us when we go. They're going to talk about CP3 when he's done. And I just think the disrespect we saw earlier today on the ESPN show need to be checked because he was way out of pocket.
Talk about it!
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets.
Family, what's good? Welcome back again. Another edition of Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets. You already know how we do. Brought to you, as always, it's your host, Justin, a.k.a. Just Blaze. Family, you know the drill. To get in contact with me, you can always hit me up and follow me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513. On IG at JustBlaze513. On Facebook, search Above the Rim Podcast. Also email the show as well. Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Tap in and leave the family a voicemail. The line is always open. Talk about it line 908-718-1592. Family, to support the show, you can do that by copying your ATR merch. Link is in my bio. Very easy to find. Leave your boy a review on iTunes and Spotify. Check out the YouTube page as well for the visuals. Solo episode right now. A quick snippet because there is nobody that I could talk to about how pissed I am about the Suns losing a Game 7 at home. This shit was embarrassing.
It was good, man. It's your boy Don from Hawaii. Listen, bruh. What happened to them Phoenix boys, man? I don't want no smoke with Luka. None. I mean, they had a terrible shooting night. Terrible game all around. Where was DeAndre Ayton? I just want to know. Should Phoenix, your team, should they stick with DeAndre Ayton, or is it good to let him go? And then do you also think they should be still putting in time to sell with CP3? Like, I'm just saying, maybe this series shows what we're going to see from CP3 from here on out. I don't know. Let me know, man.
The Suns. Franchise record 64-win year, followed up by an NBA Finals appearance. Number 1 seed this year. That rightfully set the Suns standard for championship or bust. Now, I'm gonna try not to speak with too much emotion over here, family, over this, but the way these guys came out on Sunday in a Game 7, do or die crucial game, it was flat out embarrassing. I was disgusted, to be honest with you. I was embarrassing for the players, staff, fans, and basically anybody who supported him all season. I was very disappointed in the guy's effort because, let's be real, Mavericks are not 30 to 40 points better than the Phoenix Suns. Come on now. Now, listen, the Suns played poorly in a do-or-die Game 7 at home. They deserve to lose, unfortunately. Leaving open shooters, overhelping, being way too reactive to a Luka or Brunson drive. Very uncharacteristic play from the Suns, especially after Game 2. And it bit them in the ass for the rest of the series. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. No disrespect whatsoever. But Cam Johnson was the leading scorer for the Suns in a do-or-die Game 7? That's ridiculous with a capital R. I don't know who the hell I was watching on Sunday because that was not the Phoenix Suns. I don't know who those boys were. The whole team looked shook from the opening tip, and I don't understand why. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand why, and I'm very disappointed in these guys because I had high hopes. I've been propping these guys up all year for the last 2 years. They've been a great, phenomenal team. They've been a phenomenal team every single game. I'm very surprised why they came out this way. Dinwiddie with a 30-piece off the bench? Really? Brunson with a 25-piece? Really? In a Game 7? Come on, let's go over some of the numbers for these series, man. CP, 13 points per game. Book with 23. Ayton, 15 and 8. 0 blocks, 0 steals, 0 assists. 1 assist, whatever the case may be. Who cares? Jay Crowder, 11 points. Cam Johnson, 10 points for the series. Luka did his thing as usual. He's phenomenal, leading the playoffs and scoring over 31 a night. Luka for the series averaged 32. Brunson averaged 18. Dorian Finney-Smith with 10. Dinwiddie with 11. Listen, the Mavs finished the game shooting 56.8% as Luka, Dinwiddie, Brunson combined for 89 points in Game 7. 89 points. Luka at 35, Dinwiddie 30, Brunson 24. For context, the Phoenix Suns used a total of 14 players and only scored 90 points. That's a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. The difference in the series to me was definitely timely three-point shooting and the supporting cast. For the series, the Suns and the Mavs both shot 40% from three, about 40% from three. But in Game 7, the Suns shot 35% and the Mavs shot 48% from three. That's a little bit crazy in my opinion. The Suns' game plan from the get-go of the series was clear. Attack Luka defensively at every opportunity in hopes that it would wear him down at both ends. It worked in Games 1 and mostly in Games 2, but the Suns were not aggressive enough in Games 3 and 4. J. Kidd made the same adjustment, but basically turned it back on the Suns as they did nothing to counter, which is also very disappointing. Now listen, Monty won Coach of the Year. He's an exceptional coach. He's a wonderful, phenomenal head coach, wonderful, phenomenal man in life. But he just didn't adjust well in this series, and I'm actually very surprised. I'm surprised in the whole team. The word of this episode is I'm surprised. I'm shocked. Family, y'all should have saw me on Sunday night. I was really sitting here like, what am I watching? Who are these guys? I had no clue. This was supposed to be a Devin Booker versus Luka Doncic series, and one unfortunately dominated the other. Listen, I love Book, but he was outplayed tremendously in this particular series. Now, some of these box score watchers who don't watch any games but have the biggest mouths on Twitter would say, what do you mean? Book averaged 23 for the series. He was getting trapped, blah, blah, blah. But what type of 23 was he getting? Was it a loud 23? Was it an impactful 23? Were his baskets timely and momentum swinging? If you're being honest with yourself, they were not. Every Luka ISO, every Luka 3, this shit felt like a dagger for 5 games straight. Imagine every bucket being a dagger for 5 games straight. That's actually pretty ridiculous. So let's go down the Suns and talk about their performance from everybody. Let's start off with Book, man. Book was the person I was really expecting, me in particular, to step up the most, but it never really happened. Last year, he stepped up in the Lakers series, closed out the Lakers. He had a phenomenal Game 6. I believe it was 40 or over 40 or something like that. And CP was hurt for a lot of the series, but Devin Booker stepped up tremendously. And also in the finals when the team needed his most, he also scored in loud, impactful, timely buckets, momentum-swinging buckets. This year, not so much. Now, I know he had a hamstring injury in the Pelicans series, so I guess he was trying to work himself back. But by the time he got to Game 7 versus the Mavs, you had to be pretty much, not 100%, but close enough. As close as you're ever going to be. The next step for Book, in my opinion, is working on his facilitating, because when the ball was in his hands and he couldn't score, he didn't provide much else in terms of playmaking. I'm going to be honest. I love Book, but Luka showed the world he is on a step above, another level than Devin Booker. Unfortunately, because I had Book in that higher regard. And I still have him in that higher regard. I just think he had a pretty, it wasn't a bad series, but it was just okay. Like, it was okay. Like, his stats this series were they were good. They were okay. They were good. But Devin Booker's a top 5 MVP candidate this year. You can't just be good. You have to be phenomenal, especially in the Game 7. Luka was phenomenal for his team. They needed Book to step up. Maybe not put the same exact production up as Luka, but close. You didn't have to give me 35, 9-9 or nothing like that. But if you gave me, 31, 4-4, 31, 5-5, something like that, I think it would have been a whole lot better. And I think it would be more impactful in some of the Bucks. You looked at him in Game 7, it was very uncharacteristic. He was turning the ball over. He was reacting a little bit too much to their traps, to their double teams. He was still moving the ball, you know what I'm saying? But in that particular game, he needs to step up and score a little bit more. Nobody else really had it going, including him. But I'm looking for Book to step up, and I was a little bit disappointed in this series with Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton, the Suns' inside presence, who should have been their advantage, but they had a tall guy out there running around, making his presence felt as not making his presence felt as the biggest man on the floor. All right? There was an APB out for DeAndre Ayton since game 1. He had a nice, what game was it? 4 or 5, or solid game 4, game 5. But it's really, I put out an APB for DeAndre Ayton since game 1. Nobody found him. He averaged 15 and 8 for the series, 1 assist, 0 blocks, 0 steals. Really, bro? 0 blocks and 0 steals? Where's the defense? Where are you? You're supposed to be our defensive anchor, our defensive center. We were getting slaughtered. Okay? Unacceptable, man. This is Gobert level. Running him out of the playoffs level production. Ayton, you're better than this. You're a number 1 overall pick. You can give me 20 and 10, brother. You most definitely could give me a 20 and 10. You mean to tell me you're the biggest man on the floor and you can't give me 10 rebounds? Over Kleber? Kleber? Come on. Cut the bull. Luka was working him every single possession when there was a switch. And if I'm not mistaken, he scored the most points off of switches on Ayton. They used the exact same method they did for Gobert. And what was the result? The same. It just lasted more games. I'm going to talk about Ayton a little bit more because, man, I was so disappointed in him. And I was really singing his praises the whole year. He's been excellent the whole year. He stepped up his production. I don't know what happened. We're going to talk about his little spat with Monty Williams. I don't know what was going on there. Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder. Bridges with a measly 9. Crowder with a measly 11. It wasn't that impactful. The game 7, in the first quarter, I remember he was shooting all the damn shots in the beginning of the game of game 7. 2 of the Suns' most stout defenders were absolutely cooked every single possession. Why are they doing so much switching if they are the defensive stoppers? That's your job, Bridges and Crowder. It is your sole responsibility to reduce the impact of the opposing team's best offensive player. That is your duty. Your duty. Disappointed. Now let's get to CP. I got smoke for everybody. CP, my guy. 13, 4, and 5, my G. 13, 5. That was a horrific performance, and I'm shocked and I'm disappointed in you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed in you, my brother. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm disappointed, man. I can't be shouting you out like this, and this is how you performing on the biggest stage, on the biggest game of the season. I don't know what this was. This was not you. To be fair, you are 37 and have been picked up full court for 13 straight playoff games, but I don't care. It's a factor, but this is game 7. Lay it all out on the line. Jack up those shots. You took 8 shots. You went 50% from the floor, 4 for 8, but only 8 shots. That's not enough. We saw Ayton disappear. Why weren't you jacking up those shots? You were being very stubborn this series by keeping the ball in your hands, not letting it move around. The last 4 or 5 games of the series was completely unacceptable. 7 turnovers one game, more turnovers than fouls. One of the other games, I don't know how focused you were. I mean, I know you were focused. I'm not going to disrespect and say you weren't focused, but maybe you were in your head a little bit too much. And now with that performance, you giving ammunition to a lot of these losers online, Pat Bev, Twitter, who live to criticize you. I've never seen a player, other than LeBron, who people literally live to criticize Chris Paul. It's actually quite disgusting. The Mavs are a solid defensive team, no doubt, but they are not elite. I mean, they are top 5 defensive team in the playoffs. I believe top 5 or top 8 or top 10. I know they're top 10 in the regular season in terms of defense, but not as much to be shutting you down like this. You were supposed to come off the ball a lot more, preserve some energy, step up your scoring, but you did none of that. I didn't see a lot of that from you. When you wasn't on the floor, these guys are falling asleep. They played a little lethargic. Cameron Payne was a no-show. He got smoked for 2 rounds in a row. Aaron Holiday couldn't even get no minutes. Shetman had 1 or 2 good games, and then he disappeared also as well. He didn't even really play that many minutes in that many games. Now, you see, people, they have so much recency bias. Talking about CP's horrible, terrible performance. And I'm with you. It was a really bad, terrible performance. He should have stepped up. I keep that same energy for everybody. But in that same token, a lot of y'all have too many recency bias. I was tired of getting the calls, the texts, the emails, the Twitter DMs, the ads, all of that BS. I was sick of that shit. Now these people out here got so much recency bias. You got clowns like Pat Bev, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. You know, like CP, he didn't acting like Chris Paul didn't just play excellent the round before when Book missed games against the New Orleans Pelicans and everything was on his shoulders. But let me remind y'all, Game 3, Phoenix first round against the New Orleans Pelicans, when people started jumping off the Suns bandwagon when Devin Booker got hurt, CP was there by himself. You got a lot of these media analysts, guys like Perkins, guys like dudes like that, picking against the Phoenix Suns, picking them to get beat by the New Orleans Pelicans. Disrespect. But let me remind y'all, Game 3, he scored 19 points in the fourth quarter to close that game, forcing switches, punishing New Orleans big men with jumpers, elbow jumpers, mid-range jumpers, the usual CP. In the closeout, Game 6, he hit all 14 of his shots. 14 for 14, a postseason record, finishing with 33 points and 8 assists. A perfect game. Literally. How many players can do that? Not much. Damn sure not a Pat Bev. Pat Bev is not giving you no perfect game. Pat Bev can't even get 14 shots off. For all the critics pointed out irrelevant stats, sending me irrelevant-ass Chris Paul stats just to get a like, just to push a narrative, enjoy your 15. Because I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be back. I'm going to be here. CP going to be back. The Suns going to be back next year. It don't matter. It don't matter. Enjoy your 15. Losing and folding are not synonyms in my book. Losing a 2-0 series lead is nowhere near as bad as losing after being up 3-1 or even 3-0. 2-0? That's nothing. That means you just protected home court if you had home court in that series. So to me, when people are bringing up these stupid stats, the only player or whatever to lose a bunch of series after leading 2-0, that's not even really a lead. This is the playoffs. These are the best teams in the league. Everybody should be able to win on each other's home floor. As you saw the Mavericks come into the Footprint Center, come in Phoenix, and smoke the Suns. If you're a great player, you're a great team, it doesn't matter where you play. Now, did CP show his age a few times in the playoffs? Absolutely. But what other dude his age is relied upon in the same fashion as Chris Paul? Only LeBron. LeBron, who is a top 2 player all time, and absolutely nobody else. Enjoy y'all 15 minutes. CP will be back. The people talking about the championship is closed, this is the last championship, yada, yada, yada. Shut up. They will be back. I will be back. Talking shit as usual, because that's what I do. I talk it so I could take it. I had smoke for a lot of you that were in my DMs. Luka. This guy was phenomenal. Luka gets all the respect he deserves from me. I was never hating on Luka, but I was more of a Trae Young guy. But damn it, I switched my tune. Luka is phenomenal, and this young man can't be stopped. Luka Doncic was giving the Suns buckets no matter who they threw on him. No matter who they threw at him. Mikal was having a tough time guarding him, but let's be real. Luka's a big boy with tons of skill. Nobody can really stop him. But Mikal Bridges, you're a defensive player of the year candidate. Top 2 at that. That was your individual task. Not that you had to stop him. He's going to get his numbers. He's going to get his buckets. But at least reduce his production. Slow him down a little bit. Since game 2, Jason Kidd made savvy adjustments to play Luka in the post more, which gave the Suns a whole lot of problems. Luka in the paint creates space for him to facilitate damn near playing as a facilitating guard/center. This guy was leading the team in rebounding. Matter of fact, he had more rebounds than DeAndre Ayton, who's over 7 feet and the number 1 pick, who's supposed to be the Suns' franchise center, who's looking to get paid. You gonna tell me you trying to get paid when Luka Doncic out-rebounded you? When you're the biggest man on the floor? You're being guarded by Maxi Kleber? Maxi Kleber is a solid role player, don't get me wrong. But Ayton is 10 times better than Maxi Kleber. I'm sorry. No disrespect at all. Come on, man. That's ridiculous, man. Luka, and coming into Game 7s, we know the deal with Luka. He played a couple of Game 7s already. Last year, the year before, even in the bubble. He averaged 39 points per game when facing elimination in his career. 39 points? That's the highest scoring average in that scenario in NBA history. Over LeBron James, over Mike, over Will. It was phenomenal how Luka Doncic is playing. I have nothing bad about to say that, man. He was phenomenal, and he smoked the Suns. But back to the Suns. And I want to address some of these Suns media members, quote unquote, so-called fans, quote unquote. A lot of y'all are starting to look very ungrateful. And I'm disappointed in a lot of you guys. I connect with a lot of you guys on Twitter. Don't know a lot of you personally, but we have similar interests rooting for the Suns. But I'm disappointed in a lot of you guys, and I'm very surprised. I'm sensing a lot of ungratefulness. The Suns were one of the worst teams in the league for about a decade straight. Chris Paul gets there. All of a sudden, the expectations are championship or bust. If that's not greatness, I don't know what is. Every single franchise this man has went to has gotten better. And not only gotten better, had the most wins in franchise history for 4 different teams. I'm going to keep it a stack here. Nobody was checking for Book. He was a phenomenal scorer, but nobody expected him. When I say not checking for Book, I mean nobody expected him to win anything substantial in the postseason, playing meaningful games at the end of the season until CP got there. And don't take that as disrespect. That's just speaking the facts. Ayton? Absolutely nobody was checking for him either, even less. Even after being the number 1 overall pick, proving that Luka and Trey were better than him in that draft, even though they were drafted after. A lot of people were questionable about DeAndre Ayton, and the question now remains. You proved yourself last year in the playoffs, but I don't know what happened. Maybe you were in your head about the money aspect, but that doesn't make sense to me because that would have been the whole year you would have played bad if there was really a problem about the money aspect. That sounds crazy to me. So let's be clear. A lot of you Suns fans that follow and listen to me may have been, I see a lot of y'all shitting on CP in the comments, shitting on CP on Twitter since the loss, and blaming him solely for absolutely everything. Can kick rocks, I'm gonna be honest. To blame Chris Paul for this entire series, for the entire playoffs, is absolutely disingenuous. The entire team played bad. The entire team didn't perform up to standards. Every single person from the coach on down to the last man on the bench. When you're a winning team in the NBA, everybody is gunning for you and you get every single team's best shot each and every night. Now, if you never played any type of competitive sports in your life, especially basketball, you wouldn't know a damn thing about that. Now I'm gonna leave it at that. Patrick Beverly. Now let's get to this guy. The clown of all clowns. This guy woke up at 4:30 a.m. Monday morning, went on every single ESPN show for the day, for the sole reason talking shit, hating on another player. Not only another player, someone who was 10 times better than you, individually and in team success. I went off on Twitter about this, but I need to address it here because it was so egregious. Here's a couple of things Patrick Beverly said out of his mouth. Chris Paul can't defend nobody. He's a traffic cone. Nobody is scared of him or the Suns. Book is the only star on the team. He should have been benched. He doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And he's only eligible to be on the Hall of Fame because he got the keys to a franchise for 17 years. Patrick Beverly, that was complete loser activity. Clown activity to go on TV and say all of that. Not respectfully. Now, you wanted to take it there, so I'm going to take it. I know CP, he's going to take the high road. He ain't going to say nothing, but I'm going to say something. Let's look at your career achievements versus Chris Paul. Right? All-star appearances. Chris Paul, 12. Patrick Beverly, 0. All-NBA first team. Chris Paul, 4. Patrick Beverly, 0. All-NBA teams total. Chris Paul, 10. Patrick Beverly, 0. All defensive first team. Chris Paul, 7. Patrick Beverly, 1. Remember, that's his claim to fame. Claim to be the best defensive player in the NBA. All defensive teams. Selections total. Chris Paul, 9. Patrick Beverly, 3. For somebody who's such a great, phenomenal defender as he claims to be, Chris Paul closed you out in the Western Conference Finals, scoring 41 points in your house. To go a step further, the Clippers got rid of you because of your antics and because of you being salty. They got rid of you. And not only that, you're mad at Chris Paul. You're mad at Chris Paul. Fiending for Harden. When James Harden is the same guy that traded you for the same player that you're mad at. The dude you riding for. James Harden traded you for Chris Paul because he thought you weren't good enough to win a title. But you riding him and you got beef with CP. Come on now. Let's get back to the numbers. Assists. They both play the same position. Assist leader. Chris Paul. 5-time assist champ in the NBA. Patrick Beverly. 0. Steals. Chris Paul. 6-time steals champ. Patrick Beverly. 0. How many times have y'all heard me say 0? I'll count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 7 categories. 5 zeros. Stop. You're going on TV to hate on another man. Ridiculous. And I'm off this. And that's the last time y'all gonna hear me address this nonsense. Let's talk about the future for the Suns, man. Where do the Suns go from here? Because like I said, it was a colossal collapse. I'm very upset. As you can hear clearly in this episode, clearly in my voice, I'm very upset. But where do the Suns go from here? Virtually every key rotation player is under contract for next year, except for DeAndre Ayton, for whom Phoenix has the right to match any offer, restricted free agent, and JaVale McGee, who I believe you signed a minimum deal, and he could leave also. But I feel like they would re-sign JaVale McGee if they do let go of Ayton. Now, the most immediate concern from the future is obviously DeAndre Ayton. The number 1 pick will be a restricted free agent this offseason after he and the Suns were not able to come to terms on an extension in the fall. Now, without Ayton, the Suns are 18-6 without him this year. They can do with a combination of JaVale McGee, Lord Biyombo, who had a couple of double-doubles on a 10-day, who's playing for free because he's such a good man, sending his check out to build a hospital in his homeland. I appreciate you. Shout out to him for that. He should win a humanitarian award for that. Hell of a guy. Back to DeAndre Ayton. Similarly mixed results in the postseason. Put up 28 and 17 in Game 3 against the Pelicans last series. Averaged 18 and 9 over 13 games in the entire postseason. Yet he failed to dominate in majority of these games, especially in games where his opponents sized down in the front court. Told you they had Maxi Kleber guarding this guy. Unacceptable. But at a certain point, the decision also comes about money. Never the person to count a man's pockets, count another dude, what's going on in the pockets, what kind of contract you deserve. If the front office thinks you deserve that deal, go right ahead. I think everybody deserves the most money possible for all the things that they put you guys through. Now, I don't mind you getting a max. I just don't think you should get a max in Phoenix. At a certain point, We got to call a spade a spade. You didn't perform when the team needed you most. Now, it's not only you, it's the whole team. But you were literally the Suns' advantage coming in this series. They had 3 capable bigs, and none of them played to their standards. Not to mention, had the nerve to argue with Monty Williams in a crucial Game 7 about getting touches. About touches? Bro, what were you going to do with that? What were you going to do with those extra touches that you wanted so bad? Kleber was outplaying you. Let's be real now. Come on. Now, the numbers are not going to show it, but in terms of impact, Kleber hit some impactful threes. Ayton, I don't know what was going on with you this series, man, but I was very disappointed. I expected more. You're better than this. Your talent is better than this. Your mentality is better than this. Your production is better than this. So I'm very disappointed in you, my brother. And unfortunately, this will be a stain. Now, if I'm being honest, I hope the Suns trade Ayton this summer. Retool with a big wing that can score, that can defend, and that's not afraid of the moment. Most important. I honestly think his production can be replaced. Not replaced in the same fashion by one player. Maybe it can be replaced by committee. Because if you're looking at Chris Paul now, he makes every center better than what they are. Let's not forget DeAndre Jordan made the All-NBA team. Let's not forget. Okay? Some of the options I was looking at for DeAndre Ayton, Raptors, really like that. Maybe some type of Siakam, OG Anunoby, Gary Trent type of deal. Ayton, Payne, somebody like that going out. Other teams that might give him the max or maybe more willing to give him the max. The Washington Wizards, they're looking to retool. The Portland Trail Blazers also looking to retool. I saw Dame like a tweet about DeAndre Ayton coming to the Blazers and winning a chip with him. I'm not mad at that. I just tell you right now, the Blazers don't have anything of significance to send back. So this will probably have to be a 3-team deal, as well as the Wizards. The Hornets also as well. They're a team that's looking for a top-notch center. They don't have enough pieces, in my opinion, so that also would have to be a 3-team deal. And maybe a team like the Pistons. A team that has a couple of bigs that can throw at you, money to use, and also can facilitate a 3-team deal. Something's got to change. Something's got to happen. You cannot, James Jones, you cannot bring the same exact team into next season. I'm going to be honest with you. Not everybody needs to go. It wasn't that bad. It was an out-of-body or ridiculous, uncharacteristic performance in Game 7, and everybody doesn't need to go. It's not that deep, but you guys got to retool. And unfortunately, the only asset that the Suns have to get better, to retool, is trading DeAndre Ayton. So unfortunately, that's got to happen. I couldn't believe what I saw. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I didn't get to do another episode about the Western Conference Finals. I'm going to probably do that after. Suns, Mavs. I think it's going to be an exceptional, phenomenal series there. I'm very disappointed that we're not getting the Suns, Warriors. But hey, the Mavs earned the right. They took care of business. Luka Doncic is that dude. And he's going to be that dude in this series as well. I don't know who the Warriors are going to put on him. A lot of people are going to initially say Draymond, but I don't think Draymond is going to guard him for the entire series, for the entire game, because he's going to get him in foul trouble. Luka moves at his own pace, and nobody can speed that guy up. Hit you with jump shots, pump fakes, step backs. It doesn't matter what it is. He's going to score on you. So I don't know if putting Draymond on him for the entire series is going to be the best strategy. They're probably going to start some Wiggins, maybe some Otto Porter, probably some Klay Thompson. But none of those guys can guard him. Let's be real. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup between the Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry's going to do his thing. A lot of people were saying he had a subpar playoffs thus far, but he's still averaging, 26 or 27? That's light. Steph Curry, that's light. Give him the rock and let him go. Now, one thing I will say, the Mavericks do have a couple of defenders that can really annoy Steph Curry. Can be a little bit more physical with him. I think they're going to try to employ the same strategy that they did on Chris Paul. using Reggie Bullock, who's a phenomenal defender. People are forgetting he left the Knicks, and that's why their defense suffered. I don't remember who I was talking to about it before, but somebody on Twitter, I said Reggie Bullock was a big loss to New York Knicks in terms of their defense. So his sole job is gonna be to annoy Steph Curry, annoy Jordan Poole, got Dorian Finney-Smith there too, and it's gonna be an excellent series. I'm not gonna hold you. Me, I want to see how this game one rocks. The Golden State Warriors does have home court, so it's a little bit different. But the Mavs just won a series without home court. It really doesn't matter. Luka's game translates any and every way. They're gonna have their hands full with that big body and Luka Doncic. So we'll see how this series plays out. I'll probably come back on at the end of the series or a little bit before to get my thoughts. And it's gonna be an excellent series, man. Family, I appreciate you joining me once again for another episode of Just Blaze Rant. I know y'all haven't heard me like this in a while, but I'm tight. Not gonna hold you. I'm tight. And I will continue to be tight. But I'm over it a little bit. I'm just disappointed in the fellas. I'm gonna be honest. But family, keep it locked in with me on the rest of this playoff journey. Make sure you're hitting me up on Twitter, IG, Facebook with your NBA takes. Not your corny slander. Just your NBA takes. Subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like I said, highlight me on Twitter. Got an issue with the points I'm making. Want to discuss, you want to debate. Appreciate you, family, always for listening to the show. Shout out to you guys. Because I wouldn't be doing this if you guys weren't listening. So I appreciate you, man. Family, this is episode 182. We out.